Barnstable County officials are working to develop a regional housing plan, and the Barnstable Police Department gets a call for help from across the pond. We have details on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, September 20th, 2016. I'm Sarah Mannel. The Cape Cod Commission will spend the next year developing a regional housing plan. Affordable housing specialist Heather Harper talked about the initiative during this week's Housing Committee meeting.
One of the first initiatives I'm working on, hopefully we'll be able to announce with a little bit more formality in a couple of months, is a regional housing production plan, which I know you are working on. Your own housing production plan as the largest community on the Cape will really serve the Cape very well, and obviously the town of Barnstable. But one of the things I've been asked to take a look at is whether we can take a look at producing housing, not just to meet the targets of the Commonwealth, but the needs of our communities on a regional and a sub-regional basis, to develop some real benchmarks, possibly some audacious benchmarks in terms of the number of units that we need to generate to be a sustainable community, and really peel back the issues of affordability. Take a look at how we can produce housing units, and then come back and apply some of the tools that make those properties affordable as a secondary issue. So issue number one is, how do we generate housing units, irregardless of what the value of those homes are? We know that there are lots of tools out there that you can apply to make them affordable. It's where do you put them and how do you get them built is the bigger, I won't say bigger, but is a big challenge. So that's what I'll be spending, I think, a lot of time in the next year or so on. Developing a regional needs assessment will be as you know, just from doing it locally, it's an intensive public process. So I would be looking forward to doing that on a regional basis with some sub-regional meetings. So
Harper hopes to get input and suggestions from the Barnstable Housing Committee as she works to draft a regional housing production plan. Barnstable police are still searching for a suspect following a shooting in Hyannis earlier this week. To learn more about this and some other interesting incidents, Barnstable This Morning host Sarah Colvin talks with Police Chief Paul McDonald.
Let's talk, Chief. First, hearing reports of an early morning shooting on Monday at I think it was one of the Hyannis Travel Inn on North Street. Tell me a little bit about what happened there.
Yesterday morning, about 2:30 in the morning, we responded to the Hyannis Travel Inn, located just about on the corner of North Street and Barnstable Road, regarding an individual who had suffered a possible gunshot wound. Upon the arrival of the officers, they found one individual in one of the hallways. He had obviously been shot in the throat area. He was conscious but having a difficult time breathing. Hyannis FD was notified and they responded. Through the course of the investigation, we found that he was staying at the Hyannis Travel Inn. He was staying with a girlfriend. She was in the room. Approximately 2:25 that morning, they received a knock on the door. They ignored the first knocking. The knocking continued and much louder. He then opened the door, stepped out in the hallway, and he was shot. There was no video in the area, but we do have a good description of a suspect seen fleeing the area just prior to the shooting. The individual was identified as DeQuincy Quinn from Rusty Way near Tuckett. He was born 1980. He was transported to Cape Cod Hospital. He was treated there and then transported up to Mass General, up to Boston. We were up there yesterday. He's unable to speak with us right now. We cannot get a statement from him, but we have been able to backtrack some of his acquaintances and some of the areas that he was at last night. We do know that he was at the International Inn prior to this, and there was some type of confrontation down there with a bunch of individuals. We do have video on that. So we are following up on that. We'll see where this goes. We do expect him to survive. In a couple of days, hopefully we'll be able to go up there and get a full statement from him. So the investigation is continuing.
Sure. Chief, do we believe that this is connected to any kind of a drug activity at all?
We're assuming that right now, only because Mr. DeQuincy, he's well known to us. We put him in jail for 4 to 6 years for distribution and trafficking Class B. He just recently got out of state prison. We know he's doing he's alleged to be doing some type of business over in Nantucket, and he's transporting the product back and forth from the mainland over to the island. So yes, and we were looking at him for that. So is this related? We don't know, but something happened Sunday night. It's either drug related or the confrontation that happened earlier in the evening.
Great. So, Chief, obviously, investigation continues on that
Yes.
one. I hear that you got a rather unusual phone call last week. Tell me a little bit about this unusual phone call.
We got a call from Barnstable, England, Thursday morning. They called on the business line. We're not exactly sure how we got connected through the international phone system, but this young lady from Barnstable, England, called the Barnstable police here, trying to report of a motor vehicle accident that had just occurred, and she had witnessed the accident, and she was following the vehicle, and she saw where the vehicle had gone. And the officer here is trying to talk to her, and she said, "Well, I'm in Barnstable, and this is where I am," and he can't, having a difficult time understanding her and asking her for different landmarks. I said, "Where is this? Where is that? Where? Are you sure that's where you are?" He's not quite getting it. And then the officer says, "Well, I'm calling from Barnstable, Mass. Where are you calling from?" And she said, "Well, I'm calling from Barnstable, England." And then he goes back with the reply, "Well, it's going to be a slight delay in response time. It's probably going to take about 6 hours to respond to that accident." Even 6 hours is a pretty good response time.
It really is. I can only imagine, I'm thinking about smartphones, and sometimes you just say, call Barnstable Police. You can hold up your phone and say that. So that could very well have been what happened.
Exactly. A lot of different media outlets have picked it up, too. When we get a call yesterday from the BBC, and they want to talk about it, we actually did a Skype interview yesterday morning with them. Of course, they're about 6 hours ahead of us. We did it yesterday morning at 10:30. So it was interesting. But the officers did a real good job, and it went very, very well.
Absolutely. I know that obviously sometimes the police department must get wrong numbers, but something like this international when the town is the same name is pretty amusing. Hopefully everything worked out fine for the young lady in Barnstable, England.
It was, from what I understand, with a minor motor vehicle accident, nobody got hurt, so it was good.
Excellent. So, Chief, anything else going on over the past week? Anything that we're looking forward to? I know there was a couple of events, road races in town over the weekend.
Right. There were several road races over the past weekend. They all went off with no problem whatsoever. This weekend is another busy weekend for us. We have the antique motorcycles over in Barnstable Village, and then Sunday afternoon we're shutting down Main Street from Ocean Street down to C Street to have like an open shopping market, and sponsored by the Greater Hyannis Civic Association. So hopefully that moves forward, and hopefully the weather holds out for everybody and be a good time for everyone.
Absolutely. And let's just mention the open streets again. Of course, that is coming up this Sunday, and so Main Street Hyannis is going to be closed to traffic for a portion of time. What part of Main Street does the closure affect?
It's going to be the same closure that we do for the car show. It's going to be closed from Barnstable Road all the way down to C Street. We're using the same traffic pattern as we do with the car show, and that worked out very, very well. The only difference is for the car show, it was closed down for almost the entire day. This event's only going to be for 4 hours, so it's going to be closed down from approximately 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And I know there was a meeting yesterday I did not get to attend, and I hope the parking bans are in place, and everybody's aware of that, so we do not want to tow any vehicles off of Main Street. Hopefully everybody's aware of it, and they get the cars off of Main Street before the event starts.
Great. And of course, last Sunday, last gasp came through Route 6A in Barnstable, and seems like everything went off without incident. What kind of level of involvement does the police department have?
It's a minimum. We cover the major intersections, but we cover it off the shift. There are no details or overtime required to do that because they come through very, very quickly, and they come down Route 6A. It's a great event, and we've never had a problem with that event. Because of the timing of the event, it gets through our town pretty early before the traffic really gets heavier. It becomes more and more problem as it goes down to the lower Cape.
And you can hear from Chief McDonald every Tuesday morning during our 1 hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning. That show airs weekdays at 8 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will chat with Consumer Affairs Supervisor Elizabeth Hartsgrove. We'll talk with Ryan Castle, the CEO of the Cape and Islands Association of Realtors. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mantle.